Hey, welcome to Web3 Weekly with your host, Blockstar Technology.
Let's go. All right. So welcome to episode 37 with Web3 Weekly. So today we have a special guest joining us, Rhett, a digital artist first, and a new founder as well. Super excited to have Rhett joining us today in our podcast. So we're going to the subject going to hover around tokens, cryptocurrencies, meme coins, memes around that. This is your back alley, Charlie. It's going to in this podcast we can talk about Rhett and how his journey has been as well as a founder and an artist. What's the difference between those two? Stark differences as well. So I have Charlie joining me today, and Craig, and Maureen's not here today to join us, but let's see how we take this. So, Rhett, welcome to the Web3 Weekly. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on board. And I will pass the mic to you to give it a bit of an intro and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. So I'm Rhett Mankind. I have been a digital artist in the crypto art space for the last 3 or so years. I've been into crypto for about a decade now. Mining and buying Bitcoin in 2013 was my first attempt into crypto. But before that, I was traditionally a creative in the branding, art design, advertising type of industry for about 20 years. And I sort of gave all that away a little while ago. And I've been full-time crypto degen artist for several years.
Cool. Awesome. I mean, for the first time, I think we met at the NFT Melbourne event first time. And when you mentioned about the art, I just, I look up and I was like, okay, so this is what Red does. I heard about you, but never really followed your art, digital art before. And knowing that you had Sotheby's, like some background with Sotheby's and Origin and Object. So I would really like to for you to give us a little bit of background about your journey to how did you manage to get your art in those like foundation, for example, and some of the platforms are invitation only. So how did that journey pan out to you from a digital art into the sort of the NFT part?
Yeah, it can be a pretty tough transition for a lot of artists or designers, whatever, to come over and make the switch from like Web2 area if they've been selling there, or even just a traditional career as a graphic designer or whatever, to sort of enter this new, weird, really strange space. And it's a bit of the Wild West, but the art industry itself in general is still kind of like that. It's very hard to transition over and to earn your way into this new space. And sort of I learned that. It took me quite a long time. So when so like I said, I was into crypto before, and then I've been into art design forever. And I was on Instagram and I started seeing the hashtag crypto art.
Yep.
It didn't take me long. I was like, crypto and art. I was like, I'm in. So I started researching straight away. And I sort of kicked myself that I didn't immediately jump in, knowing now that like sometimes you just jump in first and then research later. So it's the way it goes sometimes. But I took a good 9 months researching the space and what NFTs were, what digital ownership was, what it all meant, how it worked. And I spent a good time researching all of that. And while I was researching it, I was making content around it as well. So not only was I learning for myself, but I was teaching other people what I was learning. So like a couple of years ago, I think I had one of the very first videos on YouTube called What is an NFT? And that was like, I broke down the basics in sort of normal conversational speaking, like what it was and what it meant. And that was like one of the first videos out there to sort of help people come on board. It has over 1 million views on YouTube still.
Wow.
And people still come to me and say that was my first
Yeah.
entry. That's how I learned about, why it was meaningful. So yeah, that was interesting. So I think I got an invitation from being an artist continually. I was doing several different art projects I sort of do over the years. And I was doing like an everyday project. I've been doing that for a couple of years. I don't do that anymore because I'm not trying to compete with Beeple, who has done every days for 13 years or something like that. So I'm not trying to compete with him on that. But at the time I was doing every day, just trying to get my art better, work my way through just being bad and just sharing it and learning from it. And yeah, I had a channel called Mankind, and I think Super Rare reached out to me to come on board. And that was the first platform that reached out to me. Thankfully, it's now one of the biggest ones, but they were one of the first ones. And I remember going onto their website, and on the featured homepage image, I looked at it and I thought it was my artwork. I looked at it and I was like, I've done that. What? And then I realized it was someone who'd directly done one of my tutorials that I had on my YouTube channel. And they'd done it so closely that it resembled so much what my work was like on that YouTube video. And then I wasn't angry at them because I was like, that's what the tutorials are there for. But I was just confused because I was coming to this new site that was selling digital artwork. And I was like, how do they have my work? But it was someone else that had done my tutorial. And so then I was like, it gave me sort of pause, but also hope. I was like, well, if they can sell, then surely I can sell. If they're copying my work from YouTube, then surely there's a place for me to do something. So I jumped on board. 9 months after researching it, I minted my first piece in 2020, I think. And then it all started from there. I sort of dedicated myself in 2020, maybe 2021, I can't remember, but I publicly dedicated myself to be a full-time crypto artist from then on. And I haven't looked back, and I have been just doing personal artworks, explorations, just being curious, learning, sharing what I've learned ever since. And it's been a massive roller coaster ride.
Rhett, can I ask, has your style of art changed from what it used to be now that you're in the Web3 space?
Yeah. So I've never been a type of person who's had a specific style. So like if you think of, say, a Picasso, you get that abstract type of style. Even he had very different styles when he was doing earlier work. I've never been someone who tries to chase after a specific look that I'm known for, but I do go through phases where I feel like my work is influenced or it goes through some... I do have sort of phases where you can look at the work and go like, oh yeah, that was when he was doing that type of style or that type of thing. A year or two ago, it was kind of like I got known for doing these colorful, surreal forest type landscapes. And that was, I had a really good release on Nifty Gateway. I got noticed from people in Hong Kong and I got asked for an exhibition there. And that was my first Sotheby's release, was that type of style. I'm just currently working on a Korean architecture firm that's doing a big foyer. Sorry, let me just get the focus on my camera back. The big foyer in Korea.
Wow.
So that has perpetuated that style was really liked. And so I'm continuing with that. But I've moved on from that style because I was trying something. I'm curious. I wanted to see if it would... I'd never seen this particular thing done before. And that's what I get motivated by. When I haven't seen something done before, or I'm trying to discover something or learn something, I try and put that into my work. And that doesn't always eventuate in a particular look and feel that's the same. It's sort of, I let the idea come first.
Yeah.
So do you then think that, I guess, being exposed to the Web3 ecosystem and crypto and that sort of stuff. Has that, I guess, influenced then what it is that you've been doing? So it might not be a style that you're chasing, but has it influenced it?
Oh yeah, it's definitely influenced it because I'm in it all the time. It's just like any artist will be influenced by their surroundings, and I think what we surround ourselves with and surround ourselves by has a huge influence on us. And so because I'm here all the time, I notice lots of things. I try not to get too bogged down in being too in it, because I realize we're in this sort of little niche that is meaningful to us and it's a decent sized industry, but really in the whole landscape of the world, it's still like a weird little nerdy corner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's minuscule, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, so I try and remember that as well. And so I try and make things which aren't just specific to us, but they have sort of, a deeper meaning. People can look at it and maybe on board or learn something about this space, or it can reflect on the greater society as well. So I try, I do definitely pick up, because I love innovation and inventions and learning and new stuff, and this space is all about that, for better or for worse. That's why recently in the last year I've been just mainly doing AI type of work, and integrating that into my crypto art as well. So that's interesting to me, so I'm going to build that in. And it's like, so a lot of my questions at the moment are, how does crypto and AI come together to help us sort of, move towards the future? Like, what will that look like? And we're not there yet. Those questions are still being asked. And I remember asking those similar questions like 25 years ago when the .com era was here and websites were brand new. And I was designing, I was like, what do buttons look like that we press? Like, it's a given now what links and buttons look like and user interfaces and stuff. But back then there were none. It was a blank canvas. It was pixels. It was like, okay, what do we put on this blank page that people are going to understand how to click something? So it was people like me that's trying to come up with I'd done CD-ROMs in the past, and I was like, well, let's take some of the ideas from the interactivity and clicking and using the mouse to do that, and let's translate that to sort of web design. I'm always asking those same questions, and sometimes it's redundant. Like sometimes, a lot of the work is wasted or it's not meaningful, but sometimes a small percentage of it does break through and you're like, that is actually something that we'll use in the future. And then, so yeah, I see, because I remember I was doing like interview website pages. I did a website, created a website with my wife from scratch before the word blog was even, like years before the word blog was even a thing. And we're coming up with like what is going to be interesting, what sort of news sites for designers and artists is going to be, and that became blogs. People just writing stuff, and today, they still exist, but with the innovation and prevalence of streaming like we're doing now, and technology, there's better ways to get that information out there now.
Yeah, now 100%. I mean, like when you talk about, like I heard that there was a time when artists used to paint on like walls, and when the canvases came, some artists are like, oh, that's cheating. You're painting on a canvas, and then from that, and then artists start doing digital art. They're like, oh, that's not real art. Real art is canvas, and then it's always that some people get like so into it and they don't like change. I think that's what it is. I think people are scared of change, and I think, but artists are brave. When you look at like digital art, I mean, I'm seeing like a lot of like Jaguar, the checks, and what's happening there as well, the Opera pen, that, and seeing how artists, even the Fidenza, how that those artists are using technology to come up with new ways it's amazing, learning new, algorithms and mathematics and I'm going to go into a little bit later on in the conversation about what you started doing, like super technical for an artist, and being brave and going down that road. But Charlie, so I would like to hear what's your, you're in the mem space more than myself and Craig. I don't know about Rhett, but
Yeah.
what you have seen with regards to the memes that it has taken with crypto. When before crypto and after crypto, what has it been with regards to the memes space?
Yeah, I'd say you're pretty far down the rabbit hole now, Cozzy.
Getting there myself.
I've given you the memcoin pool. You've taken it, embraced it. I love it. Like, as I've said, memes make the world go round. Like, never underestimate the power of a meme these days. Like,
I say
they
meme.
can go far, they can go viral.
I say meme.
Meme, yeah.
Meme, yeah. We need a meme on that. But then, yeah, you add it in with like I don't know how to say it. I'd say the degens of crypto who like to have a laugh. They don't care if they're going to lose their money, but they're willing to have a punt. And that's what it is. People understand that it's a gamble. Some people don't, which is dangerous. But the people that I've seen over the years in crypto industry, like Doge, the creator of Doge, I'm forgetting his name right now. New Zealand guy, Jackson Palmer.
Palmer, yeah.
Jackson Palmer, he made Doge as a joke. He ended up selling his share of Doge for a Honda Civic many years ago. And then Elon Musk starts tweeting about Doge, the most decentralized, whale-sensitive coin. And, it has a good run, and people jumped in late and got wrecked, unfortunately. And there's lawsuits on Elon Musk about it and all sorts. But I enjoy it because really, when you think about it, what is money? Money is something that we all believe in. So if we all believe in a meme coin that's a joke, it does have power.
Yeah.
If we all believe in a bit of plastic, it has power.
Yeah. I mean,
and I've been loving the last month. The last month's given me a bit of excitement in the meme coin space, and laughs and people making money, people losing money, and it's an emotional game, but it brings a bit of excitement, and people need a bit of excitement in their life, and that's what I thrive in it. I love it. I love it.
So, Rhett, on that, I'm going to segue back to you with. I would like to, if you can talk to us a little bit about how your project, the most recent project, how did it come about? What was the reason for you starting that project? I saw a super emotional video from you, and I think that got me really. I would say it warmed me. Like, I mean, like, as humans, I think that's the part that we are more we're shying away from showing that. It's like, oh, we don't want to show that part of us as humans, and you're doing that, and that that I was like, oh my god, I want to know this person more now. It's another level. So can you please take us on that journey?
Sure. From how I came up with it? Is that where you want me to start? Or
I would do from the start. Yes.
Okay, I'll try, and I won't, because it went over the process of several weeks, so I won't take you through every nook and cranny, because it was a huge roller coaster over that time. But literally, my wife sort of laughs at me because the day before I was sort of pestering her like I do in the kitchen. I'm like, what am I going to do next? I have no idea what I'm going to do. And I've been doing lots of experiments this year with AI, like I was mentioning, and just for free. I've the space has been pretty dead, and like you said, it's nice to have a bit of fun and all that. But essentially, so many people have left the space. We've only left with a handful of people just doing weird stuff. Fortunately, there's still some good people out there, but I just have been doing experiments, and I was using AI. Some of the things I've been doing is like I take a popular crypto artist like Xcopy, and I train a AI model on his work. And then what I just did was I said to people, send me your profile picture and a tweet, and I'll respond with an artwork of your profile picture that looks like it was made by Xcopy. And I would
Yeah.
respond to them within like seconds or minutes of them doing that. And that was like an awesome performance art, because I would like that would you like one of them would take me hours and hours to do. And now I'm able to just like churn them out. And I did hundreds and hundreds of them throughout the course of the day. And I did it like all day for like 8 to 10 hours straight for people, and had hundreds of them. And I was like, that's a unique experiment that wouldn't be possible without AI, without sort of social media, without, the artist was a known crypto artist. So it was like putting all these elements together for just having fun and experimenting and making this space interesting again. And so this Turbo project led on from that. And I was like, well, could I do something similar with ChatGPT? That's not an image generator, it's just text. And so I was like, what's something weird I could come up with? And then that made me think about meme coins. And I was like, well, let me give it a challenge. And I asked it, I can't remember exactly, I haven't got it in front of me, but I asked it like, you're a, degenerate crypto genius GPT. How could I come up with the most hyped, crazy, successful meme coin that's going to work without doing anything illegal? How can we get it to the top 300? And how do I make this and launch it? And I just said, it was a joke, but I said it was a joke that I'll follow through with, because like, what's the harm? I've got my $20 ChatGPT subscription there. I've got some time on my hands. I got a week to play, and maybe I'll get some, interesting social engagement or experiment and talking to people. So that's what I did. And I literally just followed all the instructions ChatGPT told me to do to create this token, from naming it to coming up with a prompt for the logo mascot to the smart contract, everything. And whenever it was like a multiple choice, I wasn't sure which direction to go, like with the name, it gave me lots of different ones. I would go to my audience on Twitter and just ask them which one, and do a poll and just ran it that way. And I didn't have any blockchain coding experience previously. Like that was one of the most difficult parts, because I gave it a budget of $69. And then I said, okay, I got up to the part of the smart contract, which you guys are familiar with. And I was like, okay, what do I do? How do I do a smart contract to make this a thing? And it said, go and hire a professional company like you guys to do it. And I was like, dude, remember, I've only got $69. Like, I can't do that. And then it said, go and learn Solidity. And I was like, I don't have 2 years. I've just got, I've got this to do it. So I was like, can you do it for me? And then it just started writing it out in front of me, all the code needed. And then me as a newbie, I was like, awesome. I was like, what do I do with this now? I had no idea. I was like, where do I put the code? So it literally had to tell me which website to go to.
Oh my God.
Press. And whenever I got stuck, I just came back to it and go, I've got an error. What the code you gave me, it's giving me this error. What do I do? And it says, oh, sorry, apologies. Yeah, let me fix that error, and then do that. And I just kept doing that on a feedback loop until I started getting somewhere with it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Can you believe like having that coach, right? From $69 to launching that token. I think that's something that not many of us has seen in the past, right? And now anyone who, I think now only thing that's going to fall short is how badly do you want something? Because there are so many tools out there. The knowledge is a commodity. It's like, where do you want to, I think it's all the options. Now people like don't know what to do with those options.
It's interesting. I mean, you've heard of software as a service.
Yes.
With the advent of the AI and stuff that we're talking about here, it's actually knowledge as a service.
Yes. No. Oh my God. That's it.
Absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah. And like,
teacher that doesn't sleep.
A teacher doesn't sleep, and it's like scalable across all, time zones. And Rhett, kudos to you for sticking through it. And it's not everyone could just stick through that process, because it's a little bit, we're talking about, we are like very early in the space, right? Or the blockchain, we are so early. And then we have someone like yourselves who like going all in. And I know that is super inspirational for a lot of other artists to see what's out there, and not to be scared. And once they see someone like yourselves done it, I think that takes the fact that, I need proof before I jump. It's safe. And I think you have shown that. I think that has to inspire few more artists, or even anyone to get into space, because we know there are developers who are in the web 2 space don't want to touch the web 3 space, because they're like, oh my god, it's all unknown, the smart contract and no database and all that. So yeah, MetaMask, and that's the first thing that really push people off. But and kudos to you for doing that, and it's really cool.
Yeah, I do get a lot of emails and comments and just people saying they want to do the same thing now. Like, how did you do that? And like, how can I copy that? And I'm not about to do a meme coin launchpad or anything like that. But it is possible. You could just make a website and like one click go create coin, I think someone showed a speed run version that someone did, like a 27-second version of creating one. So, it is possible to create them, and somewhat easy if you know what you're doing. But it was a good experiment for me because I didn't know what I was doing to begin with, and to see the power of AI and to see what it was capable of. Like it was beyond what I thought it was capable of. I thought this might, because a lot of my experiments just fail, and I'm like, okay, cool, I learned something, I'll move on to the next one. And so my next experiment might fail as well, but I learned something. And so I thought that would be this thing as well. So I was very surprised. I didn't have high expectations it would be as successful as it was. But that goes to show, like, you just, you sort of got to put your ego aside sometimes, thinking like what's best, and then try things. Just follow your curiosity, follow what you're interested in and passionate in, and then that eventually, hopefully, pays off.
100%. It's a dream come true. I think seeing your journey online.
Yeah, it's been exciting. Hey, Rhett, I got sort of two questions, but one, was this, well, first of all, like, was this a like just a personal project where you just wanted to test yourself, test the AI limits, or was it more of like a social
Experiment?
Yeah, like a social experiment. And I'd love to know any highlights along the journey of your social experiment within creating the Turbo token. And then for my second question, did Pepe just come at the right time as you were doing your experiment, or was that before, or it just sort of coincided in a little mem season of release?
Yeah, sure. Well, it was definitely initially just out of my own interest. And I usually think if something's going to be interesting to me, then it'll be interesting to other people as well. So I let them follow along. I like building in public. Like I said, I was doing everyday art projects. So I just like sharing things every day and then getting that immediate feedback so I can get better myself, and other people can also get better along the way. And so I've learned to sort of not hold stuff back too much. So this was all built in public, real time, pretty much. As I was doing the chats, I would just screen grab it and put it up and show the results and go, oh, this is hard, it's not working, whatever. There were heaps of roadblocks for sure. But some of the good things that came out of it. The biggest one that stands out for me, well, there's a couple. I remember after launching and it went nuts, there was like, I think he's a kid in his 20s who was one of the first 50 people to to buy the tokens, he was like a week after, he was like, man, I can now pay off my mum's mortgage
Wow.
with the money I made from this coin. And that's possible because it was so unknown to begin with. There was so few people who got a huge majority of the tokens, because I was, I was at the end. I thought it was a failed experiment. I asked people, like, should I just say it's failed and it's done? Because it burned all my money. There was the first liquidity pool got botted, and it was just ruined. And I was like, do I find a way forward, or I just say it's a failed experiment? And the poll overwhelmingly 80% said find a way forward. That was like 100 people. So it's not like there was heaps, thousands, 2,000 people following me at that time. I had a pretty small following, and not many people, knew about what I was doing, which was sort of helpful as well. I had breathing space. And that's in a bear market as well. I just like building things and trying things, because you can in a bear market, you have breathing room, but in a bull market, everyone's shouting and yelling. It's hard to build things when that's happening. So that happened. But after I did a few news articles, like I was in Fortune magazine telling the story about what had happened, and I had someone in the day after, or a couple of days after, and it's pretty full on, but I was really tired. Every day I would be getting up at like 3 a.m. to do a tweet, because on US time zone, I was trying to just be really diligent over that first week after it was released. And I got a text from a guy on Instagram. He was saying, an email, actually. I got up and read my email, and he said, I was about to close my laptop and end it all. Like, he was going to commit suicide.
Wow.
And he said he saw a Brazilian article on Turbo, on the story, and everything, that I went through to do it, and how it turned out. And he said just reading that gave him enough hope to get up the next morning to try something different and to just try again. And he said, thanks, dude, I owe you my life. I promise I won't give up.
That's big.
I won't give up. And I was like, it's 3 a.m. I was in tears in my bed on my phone. I was like, I've got to go to bed. I can't deal with this.
Yeah.
And then in the next morning, I reached out to him to see if he was okay and everything. And he showed me the article he read, and I was like, oh, this is all legit. He wasn't, he wasn't asking for money or anything. He was just telling me what happened. So I was like, oh, that was amazing. So like a number of stories like that have come out since I've released this, so which has been really, really heartening to hear. So, and you mentioned about Pepe. So that had been out a few weeks already before I launched. And so that was in my psyche. That was around, it was big, and definitely something I used in sort of guiding ChatGPT, because ChatGPT is trained up to 2021 and it doesn't have all the current information. So what I wanted it to have was some of that information. So I told it about Pepe. There's another one called Suka and Shib and Doge, and I was telling it how they're community coins and what a meme coin is, and it's not like, there's no intrinsic value, there's no utility really. It's just based around what people are doing with it, enjoying it, or the narrative, like it's a narrative play almost. So I was telling it about how they were all structured, and that is sort of how it helped it come up with this crowdfunding way of buying tokens and distributing them. And so that helped it with the narrative play, and it was good timing that meme coins were popping off, and it just sort of played into that very well. I think that's part of the reason why it jumped really quickly in the first week to the heights it did, which obviously in hindsight is obviously like way too high. It's way too high. It has to come back, and it has been dropping ever since, of course. I think every meme coin has been doing that in space as well. So it's no surprise to me, but it's a surprise to a lot of new people who may have
Yeah.
bought the top and are upset. So yeah.
Right. I think you mentioned about building the public, and what I want to talk to you about is like if I just really want to go to micro on that subject, building, like you're building in public, and the most important thing is that how you brought the community with you. Everyone talks about building community and we are doing this, we are doing that. I think your project, you really showed how you bring a community together. So how did you go about building this community, and what did it look like for you? And were you going out, okay, these are things that I'm going to look out for, because what are the top three things you would say when you're to build a healthy community, what you have done?
Yeah, sure. So to be clear, I never set out to build a community. What I think has happened is I set out all the foundations that allow community to
Bless you.
thrive. So I built those foundations out so a community could gather around it. So you've got the sort of strong narrative and story behind the launch of the coin. Then you've got a fun, cute name and cute character to build upon. And then
Yeah.
I made sure like the contracts are announced, everything's decentralized. The images are CC0, copyright free, like you can do whatever you want with them. So I just did all the things which allowed people to take it from there and to build community on top of that. And that's what I've seen happen. Like people have created music, memes, videos. I've seen games being created, like retro games, even like 3D first-person shooter games. And they know they can do all that, and they can sell it for turbo token, or they can use the toad, and they can do whatever they like, free of having to ask me or having to do whatever. And people have, and this is stuff like I'm not, and I keep saying this, I'll say that wherever I am, I don't run this.
Yeah.
I'm not in charge. I'm not a CEO. It's not a company. People do whatever they like with it, just like with Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, or whatever. And that's a bit weird being a sort of doxed creator of it.
Yeah.
It's a different type of thing, because usually it's like sort of anonymous coin and there's no one to look at. But still, when people hear the word founder, there's a couple of ways they can interpret it, because sometimes you have like active founders who are part of doing it. That's not me. Like then you have like the founding fathers of America, where they're not active at all, but they created something and they set the foundations for it. That's more me. Like I created it. So I stay away from saying founder, because it can get a bit confused sometimes. Like, why did you abandon us as a founder? And I'm like, well, I was never running it. I was like, I put this out there. I gave it to you. This is what it is. And so I had no plans for it. I made that very clear. But it's cool seeing people run with the idea that they've created. And I say they because I'm literally not. I don't run the Twitter. I'm not in the Discord. So I'm not on Telegram. I'm not totally discarding it. Like I still want to do stuff with it, but I found as the creator of it, I have a lot of, and I've been learning this now, I have a lot of undue influence. So for example, and it just can't be helped, and I don't want that. If I want it to be decentralized, then every time I touch it or do something in it, I'm actually making it more centralized and more about me and the story. And that,
Very true.
And that's I've found is a bit strange to deal with, because just say I wanted to do a profile picture collection, NFT collection based around a toad or a turbo toad, whatever. Well, then I'm stepping on everyone's feet who want to do the same thing, and people are going to go and maybe buy my collection, and so I can't do that, even if I wanted. Well, I could, but I don't want to step on other people's feet. And now, because of that, there's there's already been one whole collection released. There's another one coming in a few days, like 6,000 collection. That's really awesome. And I know of another one being built. There's like several profile picture collections that are being
Yeah.
created around it because I didn't touch it, because I didn't
Yes.
try and put my influence on it.
Good.
So it's been a learning experience for me on how to play that, but also for other people who don't understand that. They want me to do things to sort of and to be clear, it's only like a handful of people, and it's usually the people who are here just to see the price pump. They're like, I want Rhett to do X, Y, Z, and because he's not doing X, Y, Z, he's an idiot. He should be
Yeah.
doing this because the price isn't going up because he's not doing what I think he should do.
Yeah.
It's those type of people, and it's like it's hard to stay out of that because I'm like, I don't want you to think I'm an idiot, but also like, but you're wrong.
Yes.
If I do those things, likely the price won't pump because I don't control it. And even if it did, I think it takes away from the whole project in general and steps on other people's, ideas. So it's an interesting one I've been trying to deal with. But
I mean, it's I think it's that whole journey was really good because a lot of the artists really got behind you, behind the project, because even I believe even Beeple did a art piece, and it's like you can see the support that you got from the art community. So more than I would say, I don't know. I felt like, I don't know how you can tell if I'm wrong, but I felt there was more support towards you from the artists. Like for example, Secure. He did a sneaker, custom sneaker as well, and he was really out there, really pushing your efforts as well, and few of the artists as well. I believe did Elon did something as well. I can't remember, but
yeah. So like I mentioned earlier, because I'd done all that building before, like created videos, sharing tutorials, making content. Like I said, I met you at NFT Melbourne. I was moderating a panel there talking
yeah,
about digital art. Like I've done
yes,
all these things for years. I've been doing it for years. So I feel like when I did something like this, where people could share it, like artists or other people, they were more than willing to retweet and share it around and say, look what this guy's doing. It's really interesting. And they did it without hesitation. Not
yeah,
like, who's this, underbelly, anon person
yes,
releasing this thing. They knew who it was. They knew it's me.
yeah,
So it was cool. And that, I think, definitely helped to sort of get it on people's radar. And then that, a few degrees of separation, someone knows me, knows Beeple, and then Beeple's timeline is just filled with turbo stuff. And so he can't make something, an image based on it. He made this, rocket that I
yeah,
can't ever share properly because
yes,
it's appropriate, but it had turbo down the side. And then, Elon Musk commented on that image he made of the turbo token thing.
yeah,
So Elon had seen it at least. So it was just was a pure meme. It was totally viral, organic, and it spread in that very organic, meme-ish way, like it should. So I was really happy. And whenever, because it's still a degenerate place, like people are going to discover it all types of ways, and they might not know what it is. They just think it's another, crap coin or whatever that they can invest in. They would come along and go, okay, who's the team? Like, where's the, where's the roadmap? And be like, dudes, there's nothing. It was just created out of sheer grit and will to use AI, and there is no roadmap. There's no team, and so it's just all fun and games. So that's how it spread, and people didn't really understand how it could get so big.
yeah,
But I think it was initially the goodwill of my close following.
yes.
But that spread organically all over the place. That so heaps of people saw it.
I mean, with all that's happening, I just want to just talk about the meme culture in the crypto space a little bit on that. So we had like there's probably hundreds of tokens out there with the whole memes behind, right? There's like, I don't know, the recent one, obviously we got the monks as well, and again that's Australian. isn't it? I think that's a Aussie based
Yeah.
project as well. So
What
and then
Mong is?
the Hmong, yeah, I believe it's Aussie based, right?
Nah.
It's
He
not.
crypto crypto guy. He's in Dubai, I think.
You see,
Maybe the team is. I don't know much. I
could
haven't
be,
actually
but
followed
I heard that they,
I think the Medicalect team spun up the new one, and then Bitlords jumped on, and then there's a few guys in Dubai as well.
So it's a bit of a season that came out, and there was some.
Well, that one spread organically too. Red, I don't know if you've seen that. I've had a Hmong NFT since mint, and
From January, I think, isn't it? Since January, I would say.
Before that, but they're like Hmong V1 tokens. And it came from the Senator Brad Sherman talking. They had the crypto Senate late last year, and he's talking about the the Bitcoin. There's Bitcoin and Doge beat Bitcoin, and then what's going to happen when there's Snake Coin and Hamster Coin, and what can Mong Coin do to crypto coin? And then it spurged what it is today. So I thought it was hilarious, and I jumped on board straight away. I'm like, all right, this is funny enough to have a punt on, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that's the thing.
The community's been good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in private chat with a lot of the Hmong NFT guys, and they've been going. It's like a steady little community, and recently it's growing, but there was a few people that just stuck around, kept the jokes and the memes going, and I got my little pen pal group in there. Don't know who they are.
I think that's the beauty of this, this community, right? You gather around certain beliefs, and as much as there are positive, actions, we also saw some negative side as well. The Ben token and few others as well. I think with always the good and the bad, there's always sit side by side.
Well, there's even the new one at the moment I've been seeing. What is it?
The site.
That Paulie ETH or Paulie OX guy with Ryder Rips, and he's like, send me ETH, and he got the ENS name, you'll get nothing. People have sent him $1 million worth of ETH and SHIB and all sorts over the last week or so. So
it's just mental. What's going out there is like doesn't make any sense to me.
The less you try to understand it, the better it is.
I know, right? And I think that's in a way, that could be a social experiment by itself. I think when you start studying about this stuff in the next, 60 to 130, 150 years into the future, right? When they look back, like, what were they thinking that time? Like, seriously, what were they thinking in the 2020s,
It was a bear market. Not much was happening. They were bored. They might not be doing more than that.
I guess we can always go back to that, the first apps that showed up on your iPhone, right? You got the superpower like on your phone, but then you're just doing like dumb.
Wasn't it the beer drinking?
The beer drinking, right? With all that computing power, right? And then I think this is what I think actually, even saying that, I think that's I have a feeling in a way that's good for the ecosystem now, because it makes people taste some of these failures and learn better for the much bigger, larger things for the future, what's to come,
Yeah.
I guess those are the people who really get, someone has to go through that, glass door and have the cuts and the, bruises before everyone else,
I like
walk through that.
those questions though. Like it makes you ask the question when you come across something you don't understand. You're like, why are people doing this? Like what?
Yes.
And then you have to dive into it, and you start to understand. You're like, oh, there's community there. People are just enjoying doing this,
Yes.
Or maybe they are degenerate gamblers. Like that's what they like. They don't care about roadmaps. They don't care about any of that stuff. So you really get to find out what people care about, and you it forces you to. And this is actually what I've been thinking about, and maybe it might be my next project, looking at that, sort of like that, holding up a mirror and asking the social questions. What do people care about? Do they care that this is a legitimate space with roadmaps and businesses, or do they care? Or is like 90% of the people just here to have fun and mess around and lose a bit of money, and they don't care. Like maybe we've got it wrong. And I had to ask that question of myself with the art place. Like, am I doing like for my last? So Sotheby's, for those that know, it's like a well-known, respected old place where you get the historic artworks that sell there for millions of dollars or whatever. So I sold at Sotheby's like a month ago or a month and a half ago. I spent a month working on one piece of artwork and I was animating it, and I was full-time a month working on it, and it sold for $1,000. I'm grateful for that. Like, that's great. It's not hundreds of thousands. It's not like, Picasso level. It's the sort of Sotheby's prestige and the name. I get to have that on my CV. It wasn't a huge sum of money for the month of work that I put in to earn $1,000. And then I come up with this weird little idea the night before, and it takes me a week to do. And then the market cap goes to like $100 million in a week. It's like there is no, it's not
There's no logic
to you. Like, but I learned, I was like, okay, maybe that's obviously what people want. That's what they're wanting. They don't want me to spend. I can, as an artist, I can just decide whatever I want to do. But I'm learning, because when I put work out there, I think the audience seeing with it or interacting it or whatever is part of the artwork for me. Like, I learn from that. I get something feedback from it. So if I'm doing stuff that no one cares about, then like it does affect me. I'm like, okay, I should be doing something that actually maybe makes other people think more or learn something or says something about society. So I had to, force me to look at what I was creating and maybe do better or do different or try something. So, what I value is different to what you value and what other people value. And I've been learning that all throughout my art career. And so they're valuable lessons.
100%. It's like beauty, right? Beauty is very different for each person.
Yeah, and the only way you know is when you let the market decide.
Yeah, market is always right. I think that's the thing, is even though whether you agree or not, I think that's the thing. Sometimes you try to work it out from there backwards, but sometimes market does what the market does, you know?
And sometimes in that it comes down to time frame too.
Yes.
Like your time horizon, like the .com. But I wasn't really paying attention when at my younger age, because of you were, and Craig and Rhett. We're like, oh, hey, roses.com, $1 million, or I don't know.
Yeah, like pet.com.
Pet.com.
Billy, that's right. Flowers.com.
$200 million or something.
Yeah.
And then, that time horizon comes past, and it's like, oh, can you believe we're spending?
Yeah, that time, it was
but
anyone.
Then there was good companies like Amazon, eBay,
PayPal and eBay
PayPal,
and Yahoo,
and so it depends on what time horizon you're thinking in, and you were in, and
So, Rhett, it's coming to the sort of the time of that finishing off time. So, if I ask you, what advice, like your top 3 advice for founders or creators of such projects in the Web3 space, and even can be like Web2, it can be just any business or a project or a business, whatever that is. What would be your top 3
Sure.
advice?
So the first one that comes to mind is to follow your curiosity or follow your passion or whatever, because if you're interested in it, you're much more likely to push through any obstacles that come your way. If you're just doing it like just to make money or just to impress someone or these other external reasons, then whenever you get to a roadblock, you're going to be like, oh, it's not worth it. It's not worth doing. So you'll fail like way more often. So if you're doing something you're genuinely interested in, you're much more likely to get something out of it. Not saying it will be ultra successful, but it's worth doing. you'll want to do it. So that, like, be genuinely interested in what you're trying to do or achieve. That was one. The second one is, depends. You're saying business or crypto or meme coins. The second, I think grit is important. So I think that, like, the first one leads into the second one. So be interested, but have grit, and don't just give up if something gets a little bit tough. Just keep going. And that's not to say you should ever never give up or never stop. I think there is really good periods of saying, like, this is not working, do something else. And that's what I've been doing this year. Like, literally, I wouldn't have ever personally come up with an idea of making a token about a toad and, you know, this weird thing. But I said what I was doing before wasn't working. Let me just try something different. You know, there's no harm in trying something different. So there is reasons to, you know, to change. But I think that's all part of having grit. Like, I wasn't giving up on the space. I wasn't giving up on trying to do something interesting. I was just continually not banging my head against the wall, but continually making small progress. You know, slow progress is still progress. Yeah, that's another one. And then third is two things. So, like, hope and gratitude. So I've learned to have hope, even if I think something's not going to work out, or just to have hope that things can work out, and gratitude that whether they did or didn't turn out, still have gratitude of what you've gone through, of what you've gotten, or whatever. So those things are really important, I think.
I think those are just wise words. Thank you so much, Rhett. I really appreciate it. And I got one last question, if I can throw it to you. Sure. In this journey, we spoke about your community and about you and everyone else, but I want to talk about, like, I want to ask a question about the silent heroes, who's your family, right? How did they see this journey for you, and what did you discover about family, about your own family, on this journey?
Well, the most important thing, obviously, I've got my daughter just laughing here, trying to quietly get scissors and not interrupt me. Well, they're all good. They're what is why I do it, pretty much. You know, that not only do they ground me, but they also are my muse. They give me inspiration to do what I'm trying to do. So, you know, I probably wouldn't be trying as hard or pushing and as hard without them, because I'm doing it for my daughter. I'm doing it for my wife. I'm trying to, you know, be a provider and be a great husband and dad. And so I'm, you know, those are things that drive me, as well as trying to get the self-fulfillment. So yeah, like, without them, I don't think any of this would be possible. So yeah, fully number one important.
100%.
And just one thing on that, Rhett. what did the wife say when you were on Forbes magazine, mate?
Fortune magazine.
Fortune magazine.
Yeah. Look, she's the one that doesn't care the most about it. She easily brings me back down to earth. It's like, she appreciates it. She appreciates it and appreciates me. But like, to be honest, for the longest time, a lot of artists will know this. You know, struggling artists, they go together. It's like people trying to do their work with no money. So she was the breadwinner for many years, and so I was very appreciative of you know, her security and her job and doing what she wants to do. She doesn't need to do that anymore, but she still likes to do it, and she gets meaning and purpose out of it. But so she wasn't surprised, I don't think, when it happened, because I've had viral hits before, and things like this seem to happen to me more often now.
Yeah.
So she wasn't totally surprised, but yeah, she was. She's been great. She doesn't give me a big head about anything. She brings me back down to earth. But she's lovely.
Awesome.
That's so good, man. And I think this could not have happened to someone, any other than you're such a nice guy, mate. And I think one of the best other things, like, you are doxed and you got your face out there. Everyone, when I say everyone, I think I'm pretty sure like everyone in Melbourne knows you. Now pretty much everywhere else as well, and you're been doing this in the open, in the public. There's no hidden faces, and you pretty much put everything of you out there. And I wish you all the success, and really glad to have said hi to you at NFT Melbourne when I walked in that little next to the pillar. So thank you so much for your friendship, man. I really appreciate it. And before we end, I just want to mention about our event happening next Tuesday at the Jukes Parlor in Surfers Paradise. So this is our monthly meetup, and this time we are having a paint, sip, and mint session where we are having 24 8x8 canvases into a one big canvas, and we're going to pick 24 or 23 lucky winners. One of them will be an artist, so they're going to join in. So we're going to have this painting, and then we're going to mint it on the night. We're going to show you how to mint as well, using a publicly available minting platform. So what we are showing you is pretty much so that we got a few artists joining us for that meetup as well. So we want to show them, like, look, it's not. I think we take that fear off from people. Okay, what is NFT? What is blockchain? So we want to show that, okay, it's not that hard, it's not that difficult. We want to show them how easy it can be done, and we want to show them in a more safer manner without bamboozling them about technology, right? So it's going to be a fun-filled night, and then we're going to auction the physical piece, and then the proceeds from that physical item will go to a charity, the winner of that art piece pick. So it's all for good cause, and we're gonna have some good fun on Tuesday night as well.
Maybe next time we can do a mem sip and mint.
Mem sip and and Rhett, if you want to join us next Tuesday, you're more than welcome as well.
If ever I'm in the area, I'd love to join you guys.
Alrighty. On that note, thank you so much, Rhett, and we'll see you soon. And everyone else on all the social media platforms: TikTok, Facebook, Insta, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Twitter. I don't know what else is out there. So anyway, everyone, thank you so much for joining us for this awesome episode, and we'll see you next week. On that note,
Guys.
Thank you.
see you later.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place.
Subscribe